Episode 67 of Slay was recorded on vacation at my parents' house, so it doesn't have a usual studio quality sound. Episode 68 will also be recorded on the road. If the sound bothers you or takes you out of the story, we will be re-recording these episodes in studio the third week of July. Come on back then and get all the good stuff. If the sound doesn't bother you that much, just listen in. We're going to have us a good time. Previously on Slay. Thanks to a clue that Delilah Droman planted in Gabriella Radu's mind, Lincoln and Billy paid a visit to Finicus Sleidan, the maker of the dreamgaunts Teddy Two Fingers uses to harvest nightmares from the children he's kidnapped. Sleidan didn't know where Teddy was, but did reveal the name of the company buying the gaunts. Wholesome Stuff, a firm that supplies restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King. If Ariella, Lincoln, Billy, and Magda can find Wholesome Stuff, and Magda can find where Wholesome Stuff ships to, they have a chance at tracking down Teddy. As it's known, Teddy feeds his 40-plus captives fast food-style burgers and fries. After following the Wholesome Stuff trail to a dead end, Lincoln and Ariella went to work calling their lawyer contacts, hoping to find someone who could uncover Wholesome Foods' business connections via permits, tax returns, and other legal mechanisms. And now, episode 67 of Slay. Link reached to his hip holster, drew his Keltec PMR 30, sighted in, and fired his first round in less than 0.2 of a second. He emptied the 30-round magazine in a snooge over 3 seconds. With the report still echoing in his range, he hit the controller's return button. The machinery hummed as the paper target began its 100-meter journey back to its firing position. He couldn't just sit there while Ariella, Magda, and Billy called lawyers and brainstormed. Maybe they'd figure something out, maybe not. Lincoln wanted to shoot something. Teddy Two Fingers preferably, but until they found that prick, paper targets in the Old Stone Church's basement range would have to survive. The full-body target reached his position. Not bad. He'd shot a smiley face on the head. 3 for each eye, 14 for the smile. He'd always liked doing that since watching Lethal Weapon way back when with his dad, mom, sister, and brother. That was just a movie, though, and Lincoln lived in the real world. He'd also put 1 round through each nip and 8 in the dick. "Those are for you, Teddy," he said. Excuse me. Lincoln put in a fresh magazine, set the pistol on the bench. He pulled the paper target from its cardboard backing, then felt the buzz of his burner phone. He'd just got the thing. His bro and sis had the number. Maybe something was up with Dad. Lincoln answered. "Yeah, what is it?" "This is Mercutio." Callista's part boy toy, part bodyguard, part consigliere. "How'd you get this number? I just got this phone last week." "No. Well, hello, Mercutio, my old friend. How marvelous to hear your voice." "We are not friends," Lincoln said. "Then are we enemies?" Mercutio was beholden to Callista, which meant Mercutio was one to be wary of, but the man hadn't done anything directly to Lincoln. Nor, as far as Lincoln knew, had he been involved with Sam's situation on the shelf. "No," Lincoln said. "We're not enemies either. So, hello, Mercutio. How did you get this number? What do you want?" "My mistress is not the only sorcerer about," Mercutio said. "I'm known to dabble in the dark mesh, former Rixitor. Finding a cell phone is child's play. I wanted to visit you in person to do you a solid, but I admit I was unable to track you down. Your domicile must be well shielded." Well, that was a relief. Droman may have cut Link and the others off from bounty hunting, but at least he hadn't removed his shields. His very expensive shields, for which money was still owed. "Merc, I'm busy," Lincoln said. "If you're doing me this solid, please commence to solidification." "Very well. My mistress heard of your financial difficulties and your inability to find contract work. She has given you grace on late payments before, but this time she will not. If you don't make your payments next payments on time within 3 days from now, she will declare said contract null and void." Samuel's protection on the shelf would be over. He'd be at the mercy of the endless creatures lurking in that plane. Would Nanny Naga still protect him, or would she abandon Sam at Callista's orders? Link felt the surge of stress and anxiety in his temples, in the backs of his ears. Why would she do that? I saved her goddamn ass. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. AK, if you can find a cough drop, that would be awesome. "You did," Mercutio said. "As to why, isn't it obvious? She wants to force you to negotiate a new contract with new terms. She wants her murder bitch back again." Callista wanted to re-up Link as her pet assassin. He had hated that life. He didn't want to go back to it. But if he couldn't make a payment, what choice did he have? Link knew the payment was due. He'd just been so swamped with looking for Delilah and Teddy and all the fighting and all the drinking. Come on, babe. Ooh, yes. Sorry, guys. We make the sausage live. That's what we do. Here we go. The wonders of modern medicine. Here we go. 3 days, huh? 3 days, Mercutio said. "Kindly do me the favor of not asking me or Bobby to intervene. Bobby says hi, by the way. He wants you to stop by the club for tequila shots." Lincoln had saved Mercutio's life. Then Big Bobby had saved both of their lives. Without the Minotaur's intervention, Betty Flechette would have skinned Link alive in that polyp room. "Knocking back shots is the last thing on my mind right now," Lincoln said, when having several drinks was far from the last thing on his mind. "Why are you doing this, Merc? Callista will spank your ass if she finds out, and not in the way I assume that you like." Mercutio let out a long breath. "Your analysis is spot on," he said. "I'm doing this because you saved my ass. You could have left me in that tunnel. You did not. You dragged me to safety. While I would never back you against my mistress, I feel her casual dismissal of your performance at the club leaves something to be desired." Lincoln couldn't agree more. He had damn near died protecting Callista against Boss Hogg, Oleus Oakbeard, the Flechette sisters, Dante, and Dante's Miami Muscle. "I see," Lincoln said. "Well, thank you." "Don't mention it," Mercutio said. "As in, literally, don't mention it. To anyone. We never had this call. My hope is the next time I see you, you have payment in hand. Good day, sir. I said good day." Mercutio disconnected. Link slid the burner phone into his pocket. 3 days. He had to come up with a payment of magical treasure, something of sufficient value to meet the contractual terms, in 3 days. Lincoln needed to find Teddy. Not just for Delilah's sake, but to force Teddy how to reveal how to get Sam off the shelf. But to force Teddy to reveal how to get Sam off the shelf. If Link didn't do that in the next 3 days, he would have no choice. Callista would have him by the short and curlies once again. Teddy knew he had missed something. He didn't know what that something was. He could feel it, or at least thought he could feel it. A missing piece of unknown shape and size, unknown purpose. He tried to work it out through his music, shredding in C Dorian on his 59 Les Paul, the same instrument that had been used to record Black Magic Woman and Do Anything You Want to Do. Mesh imbued the guitar. By some estimates, the guitar was one of the world's most valuable instruments. Teddy had accepted it as ransom for the son of a very rich musician. He had missed something. Something with his prodigy foreman, perhaps. Delilah had become more sullen, harder, weathered by the realities of the world. She was acclimating to her new life. Teddy had given her 10% of Gabriella Radu's ransom. That had delighted Delilah. In her eyes, Teddy saw something he saw in himself. Wealth wasn't just about money. It was a talismanic representative of victory, of subjugation, of placing your blade to your foe's throat and hearing them scream, "I yield." Delilah had her first taste of earning a trophy of capitulation, and she liked it. Was that enough to keep her in line? Only time would tell. Teddy's room had once been the cell block's office. It was where he slept. It was where he kept his best treasures, like the guitar, like the magical objects he'd collected as ransom, like the heavy tapestries that hung from the walls to help baffle the sounds of 16 guitars blasting out through his Dumble Overdrive special. He had missed something. Something with Agnetha, perhaps. She grew darker and darker. Haimana's mesh spreading from the centipede arm deeper into Agnetha's body, mind, and soul. Agnetha had developed a need for causing pain, a need bordering on addiction. Teddy had chased her out of line worker cells 3 times now. Agnetha would have to be replaced soon. Had he missed something with her? He didn't know. Teddy botched a note. He tried again, missed again. He still had his thumb and pointer finger, could still hold a pick in much the same way he had when he had been a rock god in waiting. But since losing his pinky and ring finger, his playing had never been the same. He had missed something. Something with the line workers, perhaps. Fear purity remained high, but anger, quantity, and quality had spiked dramatically, almost overnight. He dipped into their nightmares and found nothing unusual. Where was that anger coming from? He didn't know. Maybe he should just start over. Fire all the workers and start over. Rich kids were, pardon the analogy, a dime a dozen. He could always get more. It was dangerous to do so, but wasn't danger his addiction? Much like the people he had recruited as his line workers, Teddy had been born into money. His great-grandfather had done dark mesh for Wilhelm II in the First World War, then made a fortune supplying parts for German U-boats. In World War II, grandmother continued the family business. She was smart enough to bail out of Germany months before the real troubles began for the Heimat. With the help of the U.S. government, eager to know all it could about Nazi submarine tech, grandmother and her millions wound up in Detroit, where Teddy's mother had been born. Grandmother died several years later. Teddy's mother had been a teenager. When the white flight began from the Motor City, Teddy's mother and her millions moved to Lumencia. Teddy had been all of a few months old. He didn't remember any of it. What he did remember, vaguely, was growing up rich, until his mother had gone batshit crazy. Had Teddy been older, maybe he could have seen her decline coming. The moodiness, the rages, going weeks on end without talking to anyone. But Teddy had been all of 6 years old. 6-year-olds aren't psychologists. Once she started beating him, he'd avoided her as much as possible. He had his toys, he had his servants, until she took those away. For Teddy's 7th birthday, his mother informed him he was too spoiled and needed to learn how to make it on his own. She said he had a new name. He was going to learn to make it without her money. At 7. A whirlwind of change found him in St. Joseph's Orphanage in Burlington, Vermont. That was where Teddy lived for the next 3 years. It was there he learned of his naturalist's ability, the watered-down genetics of his grandfather giving him limited innate filament. It was also there that Teddy learned, firsthand, of physical, emotional, psychological, and sexual abuse at the hands of people who were supposed to care for him, were supposed to protect him. Teddy's mother died 1 year before the orphanage closed. After it closed, Teddy moved from foster facility to foster facility. By the time he was 16, Teddy had learned he excelled at 3 things: how to play guitar, how to manipulate people, and how to hurt people. He tried the C. Dorian lick again, missed the lick again. Sighing, hating Lincoln Franks anew, Teddy set the guitar in its stand. He had missed something. He didn't know what it was, but a tiny voice in the back of his head told him he needed to better protect himself until he figured out what that missing thing was. More in-house muscle. That was never a bad idea. More muscle. And while he was at it, maybe he could find a permanent replacement for Agnetha. And hey, how funny. That replacement's name was damn similar. Time to call in Amethysta and her fellow Thuengols. Billy held Dragon in one arm, felt more than heard her slow little growl. Billy lifted her, nuzzled her ear. "Easy, girl," he whispered. "He's not really here. Calm down." Dragon stopped growling for a moment, started right up again. She didn't like the guy up on the Nav's projection screen. Maybe she didn't like lawyers. Billy didn't know. "They export to McDonald's, Burger King, and Sonic," Dylan Cantrell said. "All regional stuff, kind of on demand for when nearby franchises have a shortage. Based on the last 5 years' returns, they lose money. Nice little tax shelter. But there's one thing I found. They bring in enough beef to meet fluctuating demand and to steadily supply one franchise on a regular basis. I can't find any shipping records, licenses, receipts, no transactional information for that franchise. If you can find that place, I think you find what you're looking for. Lincoln stopped pacing. Thanks, Dylan. That helps. No problem, Dylan Cantrell said. If you need anything else, Lincoln, just call me. The light in Ariella's little sphere blinked out and the screen went blank. Surprise, surprise, Magda said. That little shithead actually helped for once. Billy hadn't met Dylan Cantrell. Apparently, he had been Lincoln's bounty hunter hookup before Ariella arrived. We find this location and we close in on Teddy. If not, find him outright, Ariella said. We're down to just one question. Where's the beef? Magda chuckled and shook her head. Billy didn't get the joke. He got Ariella, though. She looked damn fine in that soft black tracksuit. Billy kept catching himself staring at her. When he did, he looked away. But sometimes that look away took longer and longer to do. The sphere flashed green. Oh boy, it's him, Ariella said. If this one pans out, I'm going to owe this asshole a favor. I hate owing favors. Lincoln started pacing again. Worry about that later. We're short on time. You sure he can't see this room? We don't need to give away any clues to this place. As if trying to find Teddy to rescue Delilah wasn't problem enough, Link came upstairs from the basement saying he had 3 days to acquire payment on Callista's contract to protect Sam. Billy had no money. Magda didn't either. Ariella was tapped out. Lincoln couldn't go out bounty hunting because Droman was still using his influence to stop anyone from giving Link a contract. Billy didn't know the intricacies of the protection deal for Sam, but it obviously weighed heavily on Link. I'm sure, Ariella said. He's a lawyer, not a mesh worker. He can only see me. All right, here goes. They had told Billy about this guy, but Billy found what they said kind of hard to believe. She ran her fingers over the sphere, which threw a beam of light onto the projection screen. On that screen, a bald man with a heavy beard cut flat at his collarbones. He wore a blue robe lined with intricate patterns of gold, silver, and gemstones. Obnoxious gold rings on all his fingers, a heavy gold chain around his neck. At his right shoulder, the robe bulged up like he had a python under it. That couldn't be real. Could it? The man's eyes locked on Ariella, crinkled along with his malicious grin. Well, look at you, Ariella Goldman, he said, in that velour tracksuit with those curves. You got more syrup than Juicy Couture. You look like a near-future Sydney Sweeney sashaying down a future runway of MILFs. Work it! Or like a Halle Berry in her trailer on a break from shooting Catwoman and chilling in velour until she had to leather up again. He made an air claw. Rawr! I'm going to enjoy you owing me a favor more than I would enjoy a fully uniformed Eagle Scout troop delivering a gallon of freshly churned Amish butter. Hand delivering, if you know what I mean. So this was Shocking Cock Khan. He sounded just like Ariel had said he'd sound. High-pitched, dirty-minded, and all swagger. Khan, Ariella said, I don't owe you a favor unless you came through. So did you? Khan pressed the back of his hand to his forehead. What? Am I warm? Do I have a fever? Because I am certainly overheating with all this info, you little Emma Stone and Cruella with her half-white hair dyed black. He dropped his hand, rolled his shoulders suggestively. I have exactly what you need, in more ways than one. Stick to business, Ariella said. You said you had contracts at the permit department. Tell me if you found the information or not. Oh, I'll give you the info, all right. Khan rolled his shoulders again, and when he did, that python lump under his robe slid down. Billy heard an audible thump, like a sandbag, drop to the floor. Confound it, Khan said. I tied the thing in a clove knot and it still wouldn't hold. Oh well, I guess little brains really do have a mind all their own. You want the info, Goldman? Here it is. The company you asked about, Wholesome Foods, does have an export license allowing shipments to the Patchwork. Said permit was granted 2 years ago. Need to find how... Said permit was granted 2 years ago. I believe that's the information you asked me to find, yes? Ariella sighed. Yes, that's the info. Fantastic, Khan said. I'll be in touch about the favor. I know. As I agreed, said favor will have nothing to do with my client, Callista, who is so not finished with you, by the way. Gotta go, girl. Time to hit YouTube and see if I can learn to tie a half hitch. The screen went blank. Ariella held up both hands, both satisfied and exasperated. There you go, Lincoln. Who knows what this will cost me in the long run? But now we know where Wholesome Foods extra beef goes. To the Patchwork. Lincoln paced, punching his left fist into his right hand, then his right fist into his left hand, over and over. Gabriella said she was in a wagon with horses and the ride was bumpy, he said. Most places in the Patchwork have cobblestone streets or stone blocks or dirt roads. No cars or trucks. It's all horse-drawn wagons or mesh-propelled vehicles. Billy had been to only one place in the Patchwork, to Cordis. He'd been there enough times to have a good sense of how things work. Maybe Teddy's place has a transit node, Billy said. Could we track that? Maybe it would let us transit right into his place, like we transited to Droman's, or link transit to the Radu mansion. Magda shook her head. Gabriella remembered being put in a cart, but all her memories before that are gone. If Teddy had a node, he would have wiped her there. If Teddy had a node, he would have wiped her there and taken her away so she didn't remember anything. No, Teddy put her in the cart and took her to a node. Probably one nearby, knowing him. So they couldn't sneak through the fortress walls, but they could still storm the castle, so to speak. All they had to do was find said castle. We're close, Billy said. Right? Delilah pointed us to Finicus Sleidan, but Gabrielle also gave us the burgers and fries clue. I thought Patchwork was all ancient stuff, with that cobblestone streets, no computers and whatnot. How many places in the Patchwork serve more recent stuff like fast food burgers and fries? Magda's jaw dropped. Holy shit, she said. I can't believe I didn't think of it. Burgers and fries. The Patchwork. It could be a big nasties. Link stopped pacing. He looked at Magda like he had the same thought she did. Big nasties, Billy said. That stuff Sophia brought us? Link nodded. Same stuff. A big nasties would fit the bill. A place with hamburgers and fries. A place to store them that wouldn't draw attention. A working kitchen to cook them. Daily food for 30 to 40 kids. Easily covered under the guise of the restaurant. Ariella flopped down on the recliner. They couldn't keep kids in the restaurants, but if the Nasties was in the same building, above or below, food can be moved without drawing attention. She tucked her feet under her. No takeout bags, no regular deliveries. It would be pretty convenient. It's below, Magda said. Way below. Even with gaunts on their faces, nightmares make kids scream. Hiding that noise with distance and density is way easier than masking it with meshwork for months on end. Billy's mouth felt dry. They were closing in, gathering clues, puzzling things out, deducing where the info led. It was a rush. So we just need to hit all the big nasties in the patchwork, he said. How many can there be? Magda deflated a little, some of her excitement sagging away. Over 15,000, she said. It's the biggest chain of anything in the patchwork. 15,000? That could take weeks, Billy said. Weeks, while his friend Delilah remained in the clutches of Teddy Two Fingers. Lincoln leaned against a wall, slowly hammered his closed fist against the stone. We can narrow it down, Magda said. Droman scanned and couldn't find Delilah because wherever she is, the place is shielded. If we look for big nasties in a shielded area, that'll narrow it down a lot. Link turned sharply, his eyes wide. I know where the nasties is, he said. A place that's shielded. Sam said when they took him out of wherever they were holding him, he heard a sound like bells with no rhythm. Metal clanging on metal. Weapons sparring. He looked at Magda. Weapons training. Magda stared back at him for a moment, a puzzled expression on her face. Then her eyes widened. Motherfucker, she said. You're right, Link. It checks all the boxes. Teddy may be missing 2 fingers, but he's got to have 4 balls. Link smiled an evil smile. At least 4. Blazing hells, he is a cheeky bastard. Stop talking in code, Billy said, looking from Lincoln to Magda. Where is it? Ariella sat up straighter. Yeah, where is it? Lincoln gestured to Magda. After you. A place Link I went all the time, Magda said. The bastion and the area around it are shielded from meshwork. Just inside the bastion's main gate is the training ground. That's where new Rixators do weapons training. Sword against sword for hours on end makes one hell of a racket. A few 100 feet outside that gate is a big nasties. Billy felt a tingle creep across his skin. Checked all the boxes, indeed. It was the place. He felt it. We know where Teddy's rat ass is, Billy said. So, what's the next step? They had it. Magda knew they had it. Did Teddy know she and Lincoln used to hit that exact big nasties all the time? Did he know they had hit it right after catching Teddy? Probably. Maybe another shit sandwich a la Teddy Two Fingers. Maybe he figured he'd be out of there before anyone discovered his lair, and he'd revel in the fact that hiding his place in one of Link's favorite places would further twist the knife in Link's soul. So it could be right outside the bastion, Ariella said. We can contact the Clostator right now. Have a dozen Rixators, Adjurators, and monks storm the place. Link's face clouded over. He'd already considered that angle. So, too, had Magda. Can't risk that, Magda said. The Bastion will send overwhelming force. They are a hammer, not a scalpel. Teddy will fight to the death, and Rixators will be only too happy to oblige him. We need Teddy alive to tell us how to get Sam off the shelf. And before you ask if Link can go in with him at his back, Basil wants to bring Link in. Ariella's nose wrinkled. Surely Basil wouldn't do that, she said. Not now, right? You don't know Basil, Magda and Link said in unison. Link gave Magda a rueful smile. Even after all this time and all their problems, when the shit hit the fan, they were still in sync. Magda wanted to go to the bell tower. She wanted to get her armor. She wanted to gear up and join Link in battle, help Link get his son back. She went so far as to try and stand to take one step toward the door, but her legs locked the instant she moved to rise. Link's future on the line, the life of his child on the line, and Magda Magdalene couldn't move. How much longer could she live like this? I'm going, Billy said. So is Dragon. Link shook his head. No way, kid. Too dangerous for you. And we don't need Dragon eating butt cheeks again. Or eating Teddy before I can have a chat with him. And don't ask about the butt cheeks. It's a long story. Billy raised his hand, fingers curled up. A spot of red flame appeared, hovering above his palm. That prick Teddy shot me, Billy said. He shot me and he kidnapped my friend. He's torturing kids. This decision ain't yours to make, Link. I'm either going with you or I go by myself if I have to. Billy tossed the small fireball in the air. He snapped his fingers. The fireball puffed out. Tension laced the air as Link stared Billy down. Billy didn't flinch. The Bastion shield won't let you use your power, kid, Lincoln said. You'll have to use guns and blades. Link made a finger gun, pointed it at Billy, flicked his thumb down twice to mimic a hammer, firing a bullet. You ready to put a round or three in someone? You ready to kill, Billy? Magda could see that made the kid uncomfortable, but she could also see the kid's resolve. She could see he had already thought through such things. I will if I have to, Billy said. I'll try not to, but if it comes down to me or them, or you or them, or Delilah or them, I'll do what has to be done and deal with the consequences later. Ariella's eyebrows went up. Magda's almost did, too. In that moment, Billy was a lot of things. Brave, loyal, vulnerable, and honest. That kid was getting sexy as hell. All right, Link said. I guess it's you and me, Billy. Magda shook her head. Not this time. You need backup. Link flashed her an appreciative yet pitying glance. I know you'll be in my head, Mags. Yes, I will, but I'm not talking about me, Magda said. If we get Teddy, you can make him tell you how to get Sam off the shelf. I think Uncle Lucas and Auntie Sophia would love to help with that. Magda saw Link's knee-jerk reaction, saw his chest puff up with pride. He wanted to do this himself. He wanted to do everything by himself. The stubborn fuck. But as quickly as he puffed up about that point, he deflated. Yeah, I think you're right, Link said. Okay, I'll call him. The four of us can do some damage. Billy shook his head. Not four, player. 6. You call your brother and sister. I'll call Morgan Stone, have her let Droman know what's what. Droman can't do magic that close to the Bastion, Magda said. No one can. He'll be useless. Don't care, Billy said. You guys know Basil, okay? Kellius Droman was my teacher. I know him better than any of you do. If he takes a pass because he'll be useless, fine. But he gets to make that choice. I know he got us blacklisted for bounty hunting, and that put us in a pinch, but Teddy has his daughter. Callius gets to make that choice, not us. Billy had a point. Magda looked to Lincoln. Lincoln looked to Ariella. Ariella nodded. All right, Link said. Call him, kid. But before you tell him where we're going, you get his word that he doesn't call the Bastion or anyone else. This is our run. He's not the boss. He's a support player. Fair? Billy gave a thumbs up, a wiggle of red fire flickering above it. Then it's settled, Lincoln said. I'll call Peanut at the clearinghouse. We'll meet there, then figure out how to approach Big Nasties. Mags, you mind getting me and Billy geared up? All right, y'all. That was episode 67 of Slay. A little bumpy around the edges, but what are you going to do? Brother, I'm on vacation. Let me stop logic here. Let me save logic here. Very good. Brick's not hit back. All right, guys, let's go to the chat. I can't really read all the stuff in the chat. A real girl herself will figure it out. But 4th of July coming up. Happy 4th of July. It's going to be great. We are going to have a grand old time at Coach and Carol's, and my brother Irv is here too. A real girl and I have seen all the family. Seen my niece Sydney and Riley. We have seen my nephew Tyler and his wife Emma. We have seen our new nephews, Link and Rhett, and things are great. Yes, my new nephew's name is Lincoln. Just coincidence. Swear it is just a coincidence. Let's go over some housekeeping. Currently, I'm working on the Crypt Book 2's first draft. We are 60K in to 110K scheduled, so we're more than halfway done with the first draft. We're hoping to be done with that by the end of July, but with all the traveling that we're doing and heading into a writing retreat with the man himself, Rob Otto, not sure whether I'll make that, but I'll definitely be trying. We've been writing a lot. I've been writing in the car. A does most of the driving. Number one, she gets car sick if she doesn't drive. It's a longer trip. Number two, if she drives, I can write. I'm a little iPad. Oh, look at you on your little iPad. We do that, and it's super, super fun. Getting a lot of work done in a friggin' car. Who would have thought? We have coming up July 6th, this coming Saturday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern time. Steve the Iceberg Ricky Berg's Junkie Party. I'll just leave it right in the middle. Steve the Iceberg Ricky Berg's Junkie Party. It's a Zoom call. You can go to bit.ly/junkies party. The link to the Zoom link will be there. You just click on it at that day, at that time. BYOB, and a bunch of junkies from all over the world hang out, chit chat, catch up on what each other's doing, zip in, zip out. It is a grand old time. I will not be there because I am on vacation, as I have told you. Let's see. June 17th, Slay Book 1 went live on Audible. It's now available at Audible and at Amazon for Kindle. We're starting to rack up the Audible reviews. We really appreciate that. That is the single biggest way you guys can benefit Empty Set Entertainment right now, A&I. So go get the book at Audible, and you can find that link at scottsigler.com/slay. Grab the book at Audible, listen to it. I hope you enjoy it, and you can leave a review, hopefully a 5-star review. And when you leave a review, remember to put text in. All that gooses the algorithm. That sells us more books to people who have never heard of me. Wednesday, July 10th, Slices, Slay Live Read, episode 68. The carnage of the finale begins. Be here for that. Not only for my eloquent, mellifluous voice reading you a story yet again. you're welcome, but also because Rob Otto will be there for deep cuts. Rob and I, and hopefully, if we can work the technology, we'll all be on cam, on mic to talk to you guys from Rob and I's hometown of Sheboygan, Michigan. We do it every year. We are very, very excited. All right, quick couple. Yeah, Goose That Algorithm, sons. Goose That Algorithm. We've been sending Rob weekly updates on the number of books we have sold. Rob is having a great time. This is Rob's second book. His first book was a children's book, so this is a little different. Also, if you guys are joining late, I've had to be my vociferous, voluminous, excited self doing multiple different voices while my mom is about 10 feet away in the other room, probably wondering where she went wrong, rearing her foul-mouthed youngest son. But you know what? You can only point him in the right direction. You can't steer the car for him. I think my brother told me that, something like that. So, all right. It is now getting a little late. I'm on the East Coast. I'm an East Coast. I'm not East Coast. I'm an Eastern time zone. So right now it is 9:45. I don't know how you East Coast people even manage this. I'm watching the chat room. If I forgot anything, let me know. Let's take a look. Going back to the chat room. We're going to pop off Midwest Waffles. There you go. Once again, happy 4th of July, everybody. Very excited. I can guarantee you one thing. All 10 of these fingers will still be on these hands at the end of 4th of July because I don't do no fireworks. I don't do that stuff at all. My pops just cooked a bunch of steaks tonight. It was great. It's just delightful to get to hang out with the family. A and I are out there on the West Coast, on the left coast, and we don't get to hang out with family all that much. So it's super special when we do get to travel. And then, of course, next week, we are going to Sheboygan. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear either the chickens, the rooster, or the screaming kids that are all sort of next door. Their psycho voices echoing through the woods. My parents live in a wonderful, wonderful location, a little bit deep into the woods. It's kind of friggin' cool. So let's sum it up. Then I'm going to go hang out with everybody. I'd forced my family to turn off the TV because the TV's on the internet connection. You know how that goes. Let's see. Baby, did I miss anything? Put it in the chat room. Let's take a look at how we're doing on CrowdWise. Oh my goodness. Look at all you lovely people. And 75 people on Elon's Twitter, which is not actually true because Elon is kind of a liar a lot of times. What are you going to do? So it looks like we are good. Midwest Waffles. It is, I agree, genuinely. Can I get chat up? Let's take a look at that real quick. Oh, snap. Midwest Waffle says, it's genuinely crazy, though, thinking that today is the likely some poor soul's last day with 10 fingers. It happens every friggin' year all across the country. People who shouldn't be handling fireworks go buy a passel of them at a local store, wind up without fingers. There's actually no Rob, no Scotty Two Fingers. I am not going to work. It's not going to happen for me. Daniel Baker says nothing to see here, just a bunch of grab assing. What's really cool, I can't really turn the camera around, but the lightning bugs are out. So right outside my parents' window, I'm in my mom's office right now. There are lightning bugs out there in the woods and a lot of pitch blackness. And there be dragons and other monsters. My parents live on 9 acres. It's dope. Pretty cool. Rob says, go back and read the chat later. It was spicy. Jen Hathorn, how you doing? I hope you're doing really good. Artificial Selection, YouTube crew represent. You guys are all friggin' fantastic. I love spending this time with you. You're great. I am going to wrap this up, though. Go hang out with my family unless they're totally asleep. David Lamb says, a local Detroit weatherman lost his eye from fireworks a few years back. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. There are people who want to celebrate with big explosive things that go bang and don't know the first thing about the safety involved in letting professionals handle such things. It's always very sad. Cobalt says, my brother-in-law was one of the people burnt up his whole arm. That is terrible. Rob Otto, I will tell the whole family you say hello. Seth Larson says, never made it to one of these before. Hi, junkies. Hello, Seth. Everybody in the chat room give Seth a big hello. And yeah. Chazball says, nice. I've always wanted to see them bugs. You've never seen a lightning bug, bro? Oh my gosh. They're so cool. They're these green chemofluorescent flashes occurring out throughout probably 10 to 15 feet off the ground, usually not too much higher. But then they can get up into the trees and the whole tree can kind of sparkle with these dim green lights. It's kind of nuts. Daniel Baker says, peace out, all the best to Coach Carol Irv et al. Thank you very much, Dan. Of course, Dan, my parents love your face. You're awesome. Steve Rickenberg says, as a California native, seeing fireflies for the first time was so weird. I grew up with them, man. They were always around. It's delightful to see them. My brother-in-law, Jude Stenson's in the house. Hello, Brolo. How you doing? Yeah, my Brolo does like things that go boom. Please keep all your fingers, Jude. Don't do too many fireworks. Geez, still just a giant crowd in here today. You guys are fantastic. I hope you like the story. Let me go back to Maine. I don't have all my bells and whistles in my little push button controller to make the screen switch. Hope you guys all enjoyed that. Rob and I continue to work very hard on the story. We're really trying to bring those last 4 episodes home with a bang and keep all our fingers. Shocker! And hopefully you guys are going to dig it. It's hard to get my head around this, but Slay Book 2 is going to be done in July. And then Ariel Girl will go to work putting that through edits. We'll make adjustments. Big John Viscara will read it. Rob and I will do the edits. Then that will go into production. And Slay Book 2 will be out in print, ebook, and Audible before the end of the year. The next 2 big things for me are to finish Crypt Book 2 first draft and then Warpath final draft. I still can't tell you what Warpath is about. I've been so busy with all the traveling. I have the final edits in my inbox from the Warpath editor. Haven't even looked at them yet because it's going to be a bit of a mental overload to see what it is that he wants done with that book. And then when those 2 things are done, while Big John Viscara is reading the Crypt Book 2, I will be working on GFL Book 7's final draft. John has already reviewed that. Apparently, I just have to go through it and clean up a few little things, and then we'll hopefully get that book out. Doubt that will be out by the end of the year, but we'll do the best we can to get that out for you. Yes, Slay Book 2. Rob just spoiled the title. God damn it, Rob. It is Slay Book 2 Electric Boogaloo. That is actually the title. Actually, Rob, we got to think about changing the title. That's pretty cool. See if we can cop out all the 80s, 90s movies, titles for movies 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is it, you guys. We are doing great. We'll be back Wednesday, July 10th, live from a beach cabin in Michigan. Hopefully the internet connection pans out for us. Ariel Girl, Rob Otto, and me, we will all be there. Rob and I will be working hard on new stuff. Real quick, David Lamb says, do you and editors ever have disputes over changes they want made? Frequently. That's a regular part of the business, is editors are trying to do the best they can at what they see as the big picture of the story. And sometimes they see things better than the author does. And other times the author sees things that the editor is missing. And then it comes down to a discussion. It's discussion between the writer and the author. So it varies every single time. I wish I could tell you there's a way things go, but it varies quite a bit. And at this point in my career, I am much more adept at working with other people than I was, say, the first 10 years. Like Rob and I working together on a book, it's all this giant egoless exchange of ideas and people hashing things out. What's the best thing? What's it going to be? So I will be reviewing the editor's notes for Warpath with a completely open mind and trying to figure out what serves the story best. When you guys drop $20 on an Audible book or $20 on a hardcover, we have to make sure you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. And that's not always an idea that's in my head. Sometimes other people can see things in a different way, and other people can see things from a reader perspective frequently a little bit more efficiently than an author can see them. Authors tend to be stuck in their conception because they're seeing this giant big picture, this tunnel moving forward. And to see something outside of the tunnel or to see a crack in the tunnel, it sometimes takes other people. So I won't say it takes a village, but it does take a few other people. Martin Evans says Slay 2 with a vengeance. Yes, Jen Hawthorne must have every hardcover. I agree. Personally, I think you guys should have every hardcover, every audiobook, every PDF. I mean, that's just me though, trying to make a buck. Trying to make a buck, dogs. All right. That is it for this week's. As usual, if you have ideas that you want us to cover for Deep Cuts episodes, email those to info@emptyset.com. We will be back on Wednesday, July 10th, live from Michigan, Slay episode 68. Slay co-creator Rob Otto in the house, and Deep Cuts episode 7 with Rob Otto, hopefully on camera. That's it. Until then, you can all kiss off into the